dances at the party. There's no one left to tell the tale. And if all my children are leaving, oh, I'll don the mourner's veil. Well, America is like a lovely road that calls to you. It's pretty but crooked with deceit, and all those things that your heart desires leave you incomplete. What an old one can't see sitting down, well, the young cannot see standing on their feet. And I felt down in my soul through the whispers of the trees that you would always come home to me. Well, you tried to build your house upon the sand, and it toppled even as you tried. And all those people who told you how to live your own life were also full of lies. Well, they say it's thought that breaks the heart. Yes, the truth can be hard to abide, but you wanted that world so very badly, you let it bleed you dry. What an old one can see sitting down, well, the young cannot see standing on their feet. And I felt down in my soul through the music of the stream that you would always come home to me. Well, they say the flood will take you in. It's the ebb that always brings you out. And when your empire of gold dust blew away, threw your soul in doubt. Now when you leave your home to chase good fortune, they say you turn your back on peace, and with that treasure you pursue, oh, you found no guarantees. What an old one can see with eyes closed, well, the young cannot see from high atop the trees. And the music of the stars sang out to me in my dreams that you would always
the thing about being a child, is whatever life you have seems normal to you. You really only have the one.
Novels must rise from a place of moral ambiguity, and so I decided to write a novel about a young couple separated by a wrongful conviction.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Wow, y'all really filled this joint up. This is crazy.
Seattle Arts and Lectures brings the best writers and thinkers of our time to Seattle stages and classrooms, and this is our 32nd season of doing that.
Our audience loves that moment of seeing a young person step on stage, and we know that that one student represents hundreds, if not thousands more students that we are working with every year.
The secret's inside you.
We're working with kindergartners all the way up through 12th graders in the class and the high school and young adult youth poet laureate program. And so we really get to see how writing impacts students and just humans throughout the entirety of their life, and how writing really is this journey.
Wei Lee.
We select 8 finalists for the Youth Poet Laureate program, and those 8 finalists actually make up a cohort. And they get to work together throughout the year, performing, writing together.
So this poem is dedicated to my father, who escaped genocide so that I could be here and read it to you today.
Literature is an empathy machine, and it helps us understand another point of view, another way of being, another person, another human.
I wish I could look you in the eye and tell you that class and race had nothing to do with me spending 30 years in a 5x7.
I feel a big sense of pressure and excitement in choosing the authors that come to our stage. I'm always thinking about what's in the zeitgeist. What are people going to be thinking about or wondering about or wanting to know a year from now?
I think we're readers. As a city, we're really open to ideas. We are open to innovations, and so innovative thinking.
We in the United States should be there to help, and what we should be there to help with is our example of a strong, vibrant, non-corrupt democracy that works for the people.
We definitely have writers that walk on stage and are absolutely blown away by the size of the audience. For many of them, they'll say it's the largest crowd that they've been in front of, and I think there's a power in that, because what it's saying to a writer is, your work matters.
How great thou art.
I remember coming home from college in Los Angeles and taking the ferry across Puget Sound.
Sings my soul.
I looked at it, and for the first time I didn't think, this is my home, but instead, this is my habitat. As though if you put me somewhere else, I would fade and die. A polar bear trying to be a flamingo.
How great thou art.
Hello, and thank you so much for joining us. I'm Ruth Dickey, Executive Director of Seattle Arts and Lectures. I'm so excited to share all the luminaries who will join us in the next season. And to begin our dramatic announcement, I'm thrilled to welcome Lynn Jacobson, Deputy Managing Editor at the Seattle Times, our longtime presenting partner in our work.
Expressions of thoughts and feelings are routinely squeezed onto the face of a phone. The Seattle Times and Seattle Arts and Lectures remain dedicated to books, reading, authors, and artists who challenge us to think more deeply and to imagine more freely. Together, we hope to envision a more safe, just, and equitable future. Here's to our partnership that's more than 10 years old now, and to the hundreds of thousands of subscribers, to our supporters, and to our donors that keep us both going. Thanks to you all.
Thanks, Lynn. We're gathered here on the cusp of the finale of our 32nd season. This has truly been a year like no other. We heard from Ta-Nehisi Coates, Rachel Maddow, Malcolm Gladwell and Amor Tolles, Jodi Kantor and Megan Twohey, Nicholas Kristof and Elizabeth Colbert. We have navigated a global pandemic and learned how to produce our events online. We have been outraged by racist violence and police brutality and articulated our commitments to anti-racist work and equity. We persevered, we pivoted, and we're so proud to have presented some of the most important writers and thinkers of our time and to have engaged our community in some of the most important conversations. We thought long and hard about the best path forward for the season to come. Should we scale back our work and present a minimal amount of programming? Should we change what we do in response to the current moment? What does our community need from us at this time? Since March, when things shut down and we moved our first events online, we've heard a few things loud and clear. That people were hungry for meaningful content and connections, and that while not the same as being together in person, people really enjoyed aspects of our new online format. The intimacy, the ability to pause the show and discuss with a family member. You, our audience, found bright spots and silver linings and reaffirmed what we knew already, that you are the best community ever. With your encouragement, we decided to move ahead with a full season of programming, which we're excited to share with you tonight. If lectures can happen in person, they will, and we will provide an online option so that anyone who does not feel comfortable attending in person can enjoy the content for the comfort of your home. If we cannot gather in person, our events will be held online. However we are able to gather, we will be here with a literary art series, a poetry series, a journalism series, Women You Need to Know, and some special events. Similarly, our writers in the schools program spent this spring learning how to support students, families, teachers, and schools from afar. And in the fall, we will be present in as many schools as are able to host WITS writers, supporting young people all around our region in telling their stories, whether they are doing that in person, online, or through videos and lessons. Our Youth Poet Laureate cohort will also gather to share their commitment to poetry, performance, and civic engagement with each other and with our city. So, who will we feature on the SAL stages in the year to come? To share this news, I'm proud to turn things over to SAL's brilliant Associate Director, Rebecca Hoogs. As I think you all know, Rebecca is the curator of and visionary behind all our public programs. So all the amazing things unfolding on our stages are a result of her hard work, strategic thinking, creativity, and crystal ball reading. And she's worked so hard on the coming season that she deserves the fun of telling you all our big news. So please join me in warmly welcoming and thanking Rebecca.
Thanks, Ruth. I'm really excited to tell you all about our upcoming year of programming. Our poetry series will begin in January with a poet whose poem of hope for her children, Good Bones, went viral. She is the author of 3 books of poetry, and this fall she will publish a book of essayettes on moving through difficulty. She is Maggie Smith. In March, we will collaborate with the Bagley Wright Lecture Series on poetry to feature a talk by a poet, a librettist, and a riveting performer. He is a Cave Canem Fellow and the author of 6 books. He is Douglas Kearney. In May, we will feature a Copper Canyon poet and memoirist, the Arizona State Poet Laureate, a National Book Award finalist. He is Alberto Rios. And we will announce one more poet very soon. Our Women You Need to Know series will begin with a poet, a playwright, and an author whom we're delighted to bring back to SAL. She is a MacArthur genius and one of the foremost thinkers on race, racism, and whiteness in America today. She is, of course, Claudia Rankine. In April, we will mark Earth Day with an Indigenous author, a scientist, a professor, and the author of Braiding Sweetgrass, a book that hit the bestseller list this year, 5 years after its publication. She is Robin Wall Kimmerer. We'll announce one more writer in this series very soon. In our SAL Presents series, we'll host a first ever for SAL with a summer online event with a best-selling British novelist who has long been on our wish list. His works have twice been shortlisted for the Booker Prize. He will speak to us live from Britain about his new novel, Utopia Avenue. He is David Mitchell. We will also feature in this upcoming year 2 authors whose events we could not host virtually this spring, illustrator Myra Coleman and poet Natalie Diaz. And in May, we will again bring the Moth main stage to town for a rousing evening of laughter and tears. In our journalism series, we will begin with a digital exclusive 1 week after the election from a political contributor for NBC News and MSNBC. She is the White House correspondent for PBS NewsHour. She is Yamiche Alcindor. We will continue the winter with a Pulitzer Prize winner, the author of books on Texas, Al-Qaeda, the Middle East, Scientology, and more. His latest work is a prescient medical thriller about a pandemic that, yes, was written pre-COVID-19. He is Lawrence Wright. Next spring, we will present a New Yorker journalist. He is the author of one of the 10 best books of last year, according to the New York Times, a riveting account of Northern Ireland, Say Nothing. He is also the podcaster behind this spring's must-listen podcast, Wind of Change. He is Patrick Radden Keefe. Our literary art series will begin with a Ghanaian-American novelist whose best-selling first novel was a recent Seattle Read selection. She will come to SAL to speak about her forthcoming novel, Transcendent Kingdom. She is Ya Jessie. We will next feature a classics scholar who has transformed Greek myths into the best-selling novels Song of Achilles and Circe. She is Madeline Miller. Next up is the American-British travel writer, humorist, and author of books on the English language, the science of the body, and more. He is a historian of nearly everything. He is, of course, Bill Bryson. In April, we will welcome one of the most important historians and writers and thought leaders on the history of racism in our country. He's a National Book Award winner, and his latest book is currently #1 on the New York Times bestseller list. He is Ibram X. Kendi. In May, we will host a humorist and science writer known for her one-word titles and darkly funny investigations into sex, death, the body, and beyond. Her upcoming book will regale us with encounters between animals and humans. She is Mary Roach. And in June, we will close our literary arts series with a writer whose poetry and fiction considers class, queerness, family, and identity. His epistolary novel On Earth Where Briefly Gorgeous was an immediate and enduring bestseller. He is Ocean Vuong. That's our season, folks. Stay tuned for a few more authors who will be added in the coming weeks. And whether we're together in a theater next year or together at home, we hope that you will join us in opening a new window to new words, new ideas, and a new day. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Rebecca. We're so thrilled about the writers and thinkers who will join us in the year to come. And speaking of joining us in the year to come, we hope you will join us in the year to come. However our events happen, online or in person, they will be better if you are with us. Subscriptions for our 2020-21 season are on sale now through our website, and you are also welcome to call our office during business hours. Thanks for being with us today, and especially for being with us in the year to come. In volatile and confusing times, community and conversation matter more than ever. Wherever the journey ahead takes us, I believe that stories will light the way and help us make sense of the path. Here's to reading and to listening and to learning and to our shared journey together. Thanks for being with us. Good night.